All right, so good morning once again, and thank you all for joining. What we will do is we will first start breaking the ice. I want all of you to understand what my background is, how I became a business analyst. I want you to hear my story. And once I'm gone through my story, I want each of you to give me probably a minute or two of your introduction. So I have been an engineer in the past. So I've done textile engineering. And after doing textile engineering, I finished Master's in Business Administration, MBA. After doing MBA, what next? I started working in a bank as a teller. It was tough to get the right job after MBA, and I worked for a teller for 6 months until a friend of mine referred me to a program like this. So I would drive to New Jersey on the weekends. I would attend the classes. And after attending the classes, I started giving interviews. And my first break was as a business analyst with AOL. Have you do you recollect the times where we used to have email addresses starting with it at the rate AOL.com? Anyone? Or have you heard of AOL?
I have not.
You have not. So when the IT world started, where it started with something known as AOL, America Online. So it was the next big thing in the IT world, in the e-commerce market. So that's where I started working as a business analyst. That was my first job. I'm going to go through each of my jobs that I've worked in because I want you to understand the domains that a business analyst can work in. Because most of my students who come to me or they ask questions, they feel that a business analyst is only used in finance or insurance, and it's not the case. So when I was working for AOL, I worked on a project which was related to digital marketing, search engine marketing. So if you go on Google, if you go on Yahoo, and if you search for anything, you get to see the paid ads. And that's what the project was all about, managing online advertisements. So that was my first project as a business analyst. I was the baby of the team, worked as a junior business analyst. From there, I moved on to a mortgage company known as GMAC Mortgage. I was working on a system known as a loan origination system for that, and there were a lot of changes that they wanted to make. So I got introduced to the world of mortgage. From there, I went into an insurance company called Prudential Insurance. And this was a life insurance project. So I got introduced to life insurance. I had no clue what life insurance was until then. From there, I moved to a company known as Yellow Book. Do you recall what Yellow Book is? Have you heard of Yellow Book? Because I may be sure that you may not have seen any in today's world. Anyone? Yellow Book?
It's a dictionary of vendors that you can just utilize.
So once upon a time, when internet was not so prevalent, if you had to find a plumber next door or in your area, what would you do? You'd open up Yellow Book and you'd look for plumbers. So it was a book, as the name suggests, it had yellow pages in it, and it would have phone numbers of everyone, as well as the advertisers of local businesses would place their ads. So the main source for Yellow Book was placing the ads in Yellow Book, and that was the source of revenue. Again, when I joined Yellow Book in 2008, everything was getting converted online. So not many people were ready to place ads in Yellow Book. So they also wanted to go digital, and they wanted to convert the entire Yellow Book experience to yellowbook.com. So that was the project I was working on. After that, I got introduced to the world of finance. I worked for a company called SEI Investments, and it was a wealth management project used by financial advisors. From there, I worked with PMI, Project Management Institute. This is the company that provides you certification exams like PMP and so many other examinations. From there, I worked for Comcast. It's a media company. I worked for Lincoln Financial Group. Again, it was a mix of finance and insurance, the project I worked on. After that, I worked with Cisco. There are two kinds of Cisco, SYSCO and CISCO. Anyone knows the difference between the two?
One is a food company and one is a computer related, I think.
So which one's food and which one's computer related?
I think SYSCO is a food and
Okay.
and CISCO is computer.
All right. So SYSCO is food, but it's not food related. What they do, they have warehouses and they are mainly into supply chain. So if you think of franchisees, McDonald's, Burger King, Papa John's, they need so much of inventory. They need all the raw materials for the food. So who provides them? It's the Cisco who delivers them those products. So what Cisco does, Cisco gets those products from the main corporate, they store it in their warehouse, and when they get orders from local franchisees, they go and deliver them. So that's SYSCO. However, I worked with CISCO, which is more into networking. And I'm going to talk about an overview of different kinds of projects I've experienced so you understand different flavors. But this project of Cisco was media related. And currently, I'm working as a business analyst project manager for a company known as Navient. Navient is responsible in processing student loans. They are also have a lot of subsidiaries which helps processing the tolls of New Jersey Turnpike, Pennsylvania Turnpikes. They also have a subsidiary which is in healthcare, which does processing of bills for a lot of their hospital clients. So I have been teaching business analysis for the past 14 years. I started teaching in April 2006. And I own an IT consulting company. The goal is purely I help students become a business analyst and help them in the careers of a business analyst. Never expanded in .NET, Java, or anything else which I don't understand. I love business analysis. I love teaching, and I specialize in this. Any questions I can answer about me, about my career, about my background, I'll be happy to answer. All right, so I see no questions. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go across and wanted to get a peek in your background. I'll go in alphabetical order. So I'll start with Amit first. Amit, you can unmute if you're talking on mute.
Okay, you guys hear me?
I can.
Okay, so I came to America in 2007 on student visa F1. Then I finished my MBA in finance, and then I got employed in 2009 with a pharmaceutical company. We did some job work for other major pharmaceutical companies, and I just managed the order flows and stuff like that. After that, in 2014, I got employed with a Amazon third-party vendor.
Nice.
Where I manage the entire order flow and warehousing and inventory management, and I got involved in the executive level decisions of what to do, what is the projection, which items to buy. So more towards the buying side of it. And then on the selling side, I got involved in a couple of projects where we design to automate the order processing and the shipping printing labels and stuff like that.
Very nice.
And currently, I recently got my green card. So I'm looking to expand my, knowledge and go in different areas of field, or, go towards a bigger company, because in this company, I feel like saturated a little bit, because everything I do is just, it's just not growth anymore, And after 2020, it's a small scale business. So after a pandemic, it's just very difficult to, survive and do stuff. So that's what I'm here for.
All right. Thanks, Amit. Anish? If you're talking, Anish, you might be talking on mute. Your phone is muted.
Yeah. Hi, Mehul. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. Sorry about the background noise here. Hi, Mehul. So my name is Anish George. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I work as a tier two technician in a company called Insight Global, and their headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia. I also do application support for them. So we have about 4 homegrown applications that the company made. So pretty much we have about 4,000 recruiters in the company, and pretty much I support them, giving them the laptops and pretty much all the application support and things like that. And I have already taken a class from you years back.
Yes.
I mean, is there anything else you want to know about me?
All good. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Imran.
Hi, Mithil. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, everyone. My name is Imran. Not much on my story. I was born and raised here in New York City. Started off working at 15 at a Popeyes, and then got a job at a hotel and worked my way up to become a director of revenue and social media. And I kind of just got tired of the monotonous 9 to 5.
Okay.
And so I switched careers into Delta Airlines, and I'm a manager for them.
Okay.
And still that 9 to 5 wasn't satisfying. So I got Mithil's number from a friend of my wife's, and here I am.
All right. And did she took the training from me, or what's the story?
I never asked her. She
Okay.
got the number, and I called, and the rest was
All right.
history.
Okay. Welcome. All right. Moving on. We'll go to Krupa.
Hello everyone, my name is Krupa. I graduated in fall 2020. I was supposed to graduate in spring 2020, but then the COVID hit and I had a little bit of time, so I thought I would take finance minor. So that took my 6 months. So finally I graduated in fall 2020. So far for my experience, I have family businesses. I was part of one of the Asian grocery store in Northwest Indiana. That was a big experience I got. Besides that, I have all my business management experience, but I have never worked as business analyst. However, I just got my first project as a business analyst. Hopefully I work good on that project through this class and I get the permanent job.
So let me tell you this, Krupa, you will get the permanent job. There's no way you'll not do well. I'll be there to provide you support and teach you the right way, and you'll do amazing. I promise you.
Thank you so much.
Did you already start working?
No, so I'll be starting it next week from Monday,
great.
Hopefully. So there's no time limit in this project. He just gave me a couple of things he wanted to do with his franchise. And it's like very small franchise restaurant called Texas Coral.
Yep, and does not matter. It's large or small. The goal is I really want you to create or have a passion for the subject. And if you have a passion, you'll do amazing. So feel free to stop me, ask me questions anytime you have while I go through this. All right?
For sure. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Pratik.
Hey, everyone. My name is Pratik, and I graduated from NJIT with a marketing and business administration major. I've been working in sales for the majority of my career. And the reason I decided to switch over is I kind of got tired of the need of meeting quotas time and time again in a sporadic scheduling. And I wanted something more structured and a lot more involved. That's why I got the number from my girlfriend, who also took the course from Mithil, and she's had a great success with it. And she recommended it to me, so I reached out to him, and here I am.
So I believe, Pratik, your girlfriend Roshni, I believe she is one of the few students who got a job in her very first interview, if I'm not mistaken. She was amazing. So, and who is she working with right now?
She's working with Everest currently, and that is the interview that she did well on a few. She's been with the company for 3 years and she's really enjoying it there. And she
Very
really said that
nice.
the course helped her out a lot.
Very good. Welcome in. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, Smith.
Hi, Mithil. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, so background about me. I mean, I'm new to VA. Just like Krupa, I graduated recently. I actually graduated of spring of 2020. Have my bachelor's. All my life, I've been doing banking. So I face, on a regular basis, I'm on a retail base and sales. Currently work for a local bank as a investment rep. So I'm always looking at sales quotas and stuff like that. So I'm trying to move away and try to get into the corporate finance world.
Very nice. And you were referred to me by Smith?
She's a colleague of mine. Her name is Uma.
Okay, yes, I
Like,
believe she, yep, I
I'm sorry to
remember.
cut you off. Yeah, I think I spoke to Uma. I think
Yes,
she was with you a couple of years ago. I don't know
correct.
exactly the year,
Yes.
but yeah, she said that she'll reach out to you and talk to you, and then that's why I'm here.
Sounds good. And just so if it makes you happy, Pratik, if it helps make you happy, Smith, Pratik's girlfriend that he was talking about, she graduated from Rutgers as well, and she came to the training and she's successfully working for the past 3 years. So it's very, very doable as long as you understand what I'm teaching and you ask me questions and you make it all the efforts from your side. Sky is the limit in this wonderful world of business analysis.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So thank you all for your time and introduction. We will now move to the next segment, wherein I need a very, very honest answers. And the question is, why a business analyst? There's so many career options out in the market. You can work as a programmer, you can work as a QA, which is quality assurance, or you can do so many other things, which is non-IT related. So what is that one thing that motivates you to be a business analyst versus choosing anything else? Anyone would like to give a try?
I'll go first.
Sure.
Okay. I have looked at every career, like when I was looking that which way we can go. Business analyst, as your resume suggests, that you can work across the industry. You're not stuck in a particular domain or a particular industry. Like you have worked in Yellow Pages and AOL, and that is, the sky is the limit, as you say. And it's a very open field, and I have, like, you can get a top view of the project. You can learn a lot of things while being a business analyst. It helps you grow as an individual and opens up a lot of things for you. That's why I think business analyst is a good career for me.
Very nice. Great answer, Amit. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts?
I can say something. So business analyst, that was first thing my university just introduced that course.
Okay.
I was the first one to join it. So it was just like excitement that I am going to do a double major, but throughout I realized my interest in it too. So I have the degree in business analyst. However, my courses were not designed, how you actually teach business analysts. We literally did, truck going from one place to another place, which one's going to be the cheaper one.
Okay.
That was the level. So,
okay.
but I do enjoy like various things throughout my business experience too. I don't stay on one thing. I like the different experience of the industries. That's the whole reason I like business analyst.
All right, Krupa. So just a small disclaimer on that note. Whatever I'm going to be teaching here will be completely different than what you would think business analysis is. And I'll tell you why. Because everything that I'm going to teach here is based on my experience and that I've learned on the job versus what the books suggests or prescribe. So don't be in a shock. Just embrace what I say and ask questions, all right, with what you've learned in the past. And feel free to raise your opinion, and I'll be happy to overcome all the confusion.
For sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. So if you ask me why a business analyst, uh, a very non-diplomatic answer from my end. This is one of the most enjoyable job experiences that you would ever have when you start working. Number one. Number two, this is the job that is a part of an IT industry. However, it does not demand you to have any technical background, have any XYZ experience, or have any XYZ knowledge. As long as you have an ability to understand business process, as long as you have an ability to understand a process flow, you can do this. So to me, it is a blessing that has happened to my career. So the easiest way to be a part of IT industry, make amazing, amazing money, as well as it's not only about making money. I've always feel that when you enjoy something that you do, I mean, you do amazing. And making money for something that you really enjoy doing is a blessing. And this is going to give you that blessing. All right, so that's my view of why a business analyst. Whatever I just said is purely based on my experience of this job. Any questions on this before I move on? All right, I take silence as a no. I am going to move on to the next slide. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, I want to talk about I as a trainer, what are my deliverables? So what am I supposed to be delivering during the training? What am I supposed to be delivering after the training? So just wanted to quickly go through that. So the very first thing that I'm going to teach you here is I'm going to teach you the language of a business analyst. So by that, I mean, I'm going to teach you the industry jargons. Now, we all talk English at work. However, there are certain words, that are certain jargons that I use as a BA on the job that you guys don't know right now. So the goal for me in this training is I'm going to walk you through all the commonly used jargons that I use on the job. So when you start working or when you give interviews, you give the interview using the business analyst language and not a layman language. That's the first thing. The next thing that we are going to learn is I'm going to help you learn how to create the business analyst deliverables, the documents. Now, what you see here on the screen I have is create use cases. Now, use case is just one example of one of your deliverables. However, in this training, we will go through every document that you would end up creating as a part of your job. And we'll have hands-on training on all these deliverables of a business analyst. The next thing we want to learn is, although you're going to get a job as a business analyst, I want you to tell them in the interview and on your resume that I can not only do business analysis, I can also help you with a job of QA. QA stands for quality assurance. Most of the QA jobs are getting outsourced. So there are not many people who can work as QA on the job in the US. So what you want to say is, I can not only help you within the BA world, I can also help you perform the QA role. So what you're offering more than one skill set within the job. And they absolutely love people who can do multiple things and not only stick to one of their expertise. So this really, really expedites the processes of you getting a job with this knowledge. And then another very important aspect of this is creating UML diagrams. So along with creating documents, we also create a lot of diagrams. And the goal of this training is I'm going to have you install those softwares in your laptop. And I'll teach you step by step on how to create these diagrams. So creating the documents, working as a QA, creating diagrams, and speaking the BA language is what I plan to deliver during the training. Any questions I can answer? All right, so then the next thing I want to go through in the training is the most important thing. I want to have you an understanding of your role as a BA. So I'm going to pass it on to you, and I want to hear your understanding of your role as a BA. So what do you think a business analyst is? What do you think a business analyst does? Anyone would like to give their opinion, their understanding? Now is the time.
I think can you hear me, Maple? Hello?
Yes, I can, Anish. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think a role of a business analyst, he works, he or she works in between the business and the the developer. So pretty much, if the business needs any requirement, any software, the business analyst will work with the rest of the team, with the developers to, with the with the managers of the company itself. And he'll be like the bridge between the business people and the people like, and the software developers to create a software or make any changes or to make any changes on a software or create a new software, things like that. That's my understanding so far.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yes, I think a business analyst is first role is to understand what the business is, and the next job is where the business want it to be, and then how to fix that distance from point A to point B, and then understand and coordinate the activities and whatever resources available to him or her, and then do the job
Okay.
or provide value to the organization.
All right. Thank you. So let me just give you an example. So let's say there's a company A, and I'll just give the name Bank of America for the sake of learning. Let's say Bank of America has 5 office buildings that you see here on my screen. This is building number 1, building number 2, building number 3, building number 4, building number 5. And each of these 5 office buildings are pretty much located within a 5-mile diameter of each other. Now, each building, they have about 200 employees working in each of these buildings. Now, what happens is when an employee of building 1 has to go and meet an employee in building 4, the first thing they have to do is they have to go to the parking garage, pull out the car, drive about 15 minutes, park the car in the garage of building number 4. So this commute takes them about 15 to 20 minutes one way. They meet for an hour and they spend another 20 minutes going back, repeating that process in the reverse order. So what they feel is in order to meet someone for an hour, they end up spending 30 to 40 minutes commuting, which is not the most efficient. Hey, George, Anish, can you please mute yourself? I'm getting a lot of feedback from you. So what they realize is, in order to meet for an hour, the employees are wasting 30 to 40 minutes back and forth. And this is not the most ideal use of their working hours. So what the business is thinking, instead of having 5 small offices, they rather want to build one tall building and have all the 1,000 employees located in the same building on different floors. So this is the business problem. Now, the question to you as a team is this a business problem that the business analyst will be interested in solving? If yes, why? And if no, why? Anyone?
I think they would be asking business analysts to figure out, is it financially okay to do that? Or is it a wrong decision? So I feel yes, business analyst would take part in this.
All right. So I was actually hoping, Krupa, that you would answer me this question, because and you would exactly give me this answer, because from the limited information you gave me about learning business analysis, it's okay. However, this is not the right answer. Pretty soon you'll realize business analysis is an altogether a different world. We'll go there soon. All right, anyone else?
More like a process re-engineering type of like a project management project. I could be wrong, but I think.
Okay, so again, not.
Yeah, I don't think the business analyst will be involved there.
Correct. So the answer is a business analyst will not be involved here. That is the correct answer. Now, why would a business analyst not be involved here?
Because there is no, there's no software development there.
Exactly. So I want you to understand this. What do we call ourselves? We call ourselves business analysts. However, the real name of the job that we do is anyone?
Business system analyst.
Exactly. So we all mispronounce our job titles as business analyst. However, the real name of the job we do is business systems analyst. It has an extra S, has to come out. So what does this name suggest? What do we do now? Anyone? What is it that I'm analyzing?
The process of business.
I may be analyzing the process of business, but I'm analyzing pretty much something different.
Softwares in business and
so
the
what,
process in business together.
So what I am analyzing is, I am analyzing the systems. I am analyzing the systems which are used to support the business. Did I just confuse you? I'm happy to hear a yes as well. All right, no answer. We'll move on, and I'll make some more understanding of what I just meant. So when I talk of systems at work, there are two kinds of systems which are used on the job. Let's understand them. The first kind of a system which is used is known as an internal system. Does anyone know or understand what an internal system is? Or you can also give it a guess, completely acceptable. What do you think is an internal system?
Hi, Mithil. I would
Yes.
guess an internal system would be a system only used by that business or organization.
Let me clarify one thing, Smith. Mostly systems are used or meant for that specific business organization only.
Okay.
I know what you're trying to say, but you're not trying to use the right words. So give it another try. Internal system. And let me just write the other form of system as well. It's pretty self-explanatory. The other type of a system is known as an external system. However, we first want to understand what an internal system is, and then we'll go on to what an external system is. Yes, Imran.
Again,
Imran, you raised a hand. You had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to take a guess, but I was saying the internal systems could be the systems that are not privy to the public. It's for in-use or in-house companies.
Perfect. Super. So when you say it's not for the public, what does that mean? Who is it for then?
It's for basically anyone in-house or anyone privy to that information. It's just private use only for the company.
Perfect. So in other words, it's mainly for the employees of the organization. These are internal systems that you use to support the work. So now I would love to hear some examples of systems that you may have worked in the past that you think are internal to the company from your experience. Anyone?
In my previous sales jobs, I think one of the internal systems that I used was CRM or Salesforce, where it was only viewed by the employees of the company, where we had all our information on our clients,
Amazing,
like the leads, etc.
Amazing. And just so you know, Pratik, Salesforce is a very, very hot system used by the sales team in today's world. And there is a lot of demands for BAs who understand Salesforce. So great job. So just for everyone else who doesn't know what Salesforce is, it's more like a CRM system, customer relationship management. So let's say you are a salesperson and you're trying to sell. What were you selling, Pratik? What was your product?
I worked at a vendor agnostic IT vendor, SHI. So we work with almost every company in IT. Like you mentioned Cisco before, like we work with them also. And I was calling on school districts to sell them different IT solutions based on the budget that they had for the year.
Perfect. So let's say you're selling a software to someone, or let me just make it easy. Let's say you are a sales rep for selling air conditioners. So what you do is you go and meet different clients, different corporates. And anytime you have a new lead, you have to enter the information of that new lead into the system. And this Salesforce is a tool that helps you capture all the details of your prospect customers. And then it has a sales pipeline that from the prospect customer, you convert them into a contract and you create a customer and you manage their billing and you manage the entire life cycle of customer. That's what this tool does. So that's a great example. Anyone else would like to call out another system that they may have used previously, which would classify as an internal system?
This also kind of relates to that same job, but we also had a company website where only employees had access. It was kind of like discounted merchandise and things that we could purchase.
Perfect. Amazing example. That's again an internal system. Now, let's say when you go to a bank and you say, I want to open up an account, who do you go and meet? You go and meet a customer service associate. What does the customer service associate do? They take your ID and they punch in some data in their system. Do you as a customer have access to that system? The answer is no, you don't. Only that customer service associate can. So again, that's an example of an internal system. The system that is used by a teller when you're processing your checks or when you want to withdraw funds, again, an internal system. So now we know what an internal system is. What's an example of an external system? Or what is an external system?
An external system is any third-party system which anybody can use, like whoever has access
a little bit
to
little bit wrong here. It has nothing to do with third party.
Okay. So it is, it is an application which is which is made by a, which pretty much any business can use, or pretty much anybody can use if they have a license, if they buy that product.
You're always talking in terms of a software or buying a product or something like that. Let me make it easy.
Okay.
Let's say Walmart. Okay. What's an example of an external system for Walmart?
It can be ADP, their payroll.
Wrong.
Their display register where we can see what products we are scanning.
Who's the end user of that?
Customer.
End user.
Oh, end user is a cashier.
So is it meant by the customers to use it?
The self-checkout one.
Right.
Exactly. So there are two separate systems, right?
Yeah.
So the self-checkout kiosks, that's an external system. Why? Because that system is meant to be used for customers. So that's an external system. But when you go to the regular, we call it in layman language, we call it the register. However, it's called a POS, point of sale system. What do? You give your products to the cashier, and the cashier scans them, and the cashier processes them. So that's an internal system. So an external system is a system which is meant to be used by the customers of the business. What is another example of an external system for Walmart?
Maybe their company website.
Absolutely, Walmart.com. They are extending all the e-commerce capabilities on Walmart.com. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to compete with someone. Who are they trying to compete with?
Amazon.
Amazon. So that's another system, right? Walmart.com, which is an external system. So any system which is meant to be used by the customers of the business is classified as an external system. Any system which is meant to be used by the employees of the organization is an internal system. Now, what is your job as a business systems analyst is? Your job is to gather the requirements with respect to any changes to be made in these systems. Now, I used the word requirements. So what is a requirement? So your job as a business analyst is to gather requirements with respect to either an internal system or an external system. So what do you understand by the word requirement?
Necessary steps, or for example, products in order to reach the goal business wants.
Can you repeat that again, Krupa? I lost you there.
Is it the products or the steps necessary to be taken for the business to reach the goal it wants?
Okay. I just am not able to agree on the word product, because I'm talking about in terms of a system here. So whenever we work as a business systems analyst or a business analyst, my job is totally related to supporting their IT systems. Could it be an internal system or could it be an external system? And I gather requirements with respect to that. So again, what do I understand? What do you understand when I say I gather requirements?
Let me take a guess.
Yep.
I think making sure that the systems are working efficiently, whether it be the internal or external use for the end
So
user.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
Systems are, your job is to ensure the systems are working efficiently. Who does that? Who ensures that the system should work fine and there are no defects or no bugs in the system?
IT.
Okay, IT is a huge term. I'm going to go through the different roles in IT as well, all right?
Okay.
So it's mainly a role known as a quality assurance. And what quality assurance does? They ensure that the system is defect-free and the system works fine. So not something that I would do primarily. I'm still talking about, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on this topic, and I'm going to stretch it, I'm going to drag it, because I want to make sure we understand this in detail, as this is the most important concept of the entire training, your role as a BA. So again, I'm going back to the word requirement. Anyone else who'd like to give it a try?
So it is something the company needs related to an internal or an external system that
All
they
right.
have.
All right, pretty close. Just not using the right words, but that's absolutely all right. So let me share an example, all right? Let me share an example and let me show you something. You see this page? What kind of page is this?
Checkout
It's
page
a
is,
payment for a billing.
this page, yes, this page is a checkout page, okay? And what kind of a system you think is this? Is this an internal system or is this an external system? This is a no-brainer question.
External.
External, right? So I want you to assume that, let's assume this is a page for Amazon when you're trying to check out, okay? So you've added the products to your cart, you've selected the shipping method, and now you are at the point of payment option. And let's say this is for Amazon. Now, the business of Amazon says that they want to add a new form of payment. Currently, what are the options you can pay by? You can pay by a Visa, American Express, Discover, MasterCard. Now, the business is saying, I want to add a new form of payment, and that payment is via PayPal. That is the form of payment I want to add. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I am the business, right? I represent the business. I want to make the change in my system. Who would I go and talk to in order for me to make this change? Or who should I go and talk to?
The business itself.
No, I am the business and I want to make the change. So in order for me to make this change, who do I go and talk to that I want to make this change and help me deliver this change in the system?
Oh, to the developers.
To the developers. Does everyone agree on this? Okay. Does everyone agree on what Anish is saying? That I'd go and talk to the developers?
You will talk to a business matter expert that you want to do this, and then, because you don't necessarily have the development knowledge, you just want something that is to be done.
Correct. So who is a business matter expert? I have not heard of this term before.
Business analyst or whoever is whoever has the knowledge of the how things can be done.
So let me tell you, let me clarify one more thing here, Amit. I am a business analyst and I am not technical. So I don't have the knowledge of how things will be done. Okay, so I want you to understand this, that I, as a business analyst, I'm not a technical person. And I would not be able to tell whether will this be done or this will not be done. So going back to my previous question, I work for Amazon on the business side, and I want to introduce a capability where my customers can pay via PayPal. Who do I go and talk to? So Anish told me I can go and talk to a developer. Does anyone else has a different answer. A developer is someone who's a programmer who does the coding and who creates the system, FYI. All right. So I would go and talk to a developer if I was living in the year 1995, 1996, 1997. Why? Because a business analyst job did not exist then. In today's world, if I'm a business and if I want to make a change in the system, I never go and talk to a developer, never. Instead, I go and talk to a business analyst. Because I tell the business analyst what the requirements are, the business analyst is going to document those requirements, and the business analyst will pass on that document of requirements to the IT team, which includes the developer. The IT team looks at the requirements document that a business analyst wrote, and they'll make the change. So now, can you try and infer what a requirement is?
It's the improvement needed in the current system of the business.
Very close. So a requirement is a change that you want to make in the system. If your system already exists, many a times a system does not exist and you have to create a brand new system. So in that case, the requirement would be how a system should work. That's a requirement. So a requirement is how a system should work, or what are the changes you want to be made in the system which currently exist is a requirement. And your job as a business systems analyst or a business analyst is to capture these requirements. Am I making sense? I want you to stop me, ask me questions if anything I say does not make sense.
Is that the first stage of the job, or that's the job?
So Krupa, I'm not talking about stages of the job right now. I'm just talking about an overview of the role, and we'll go into understanding the minute stages of your job as a business analyst. I'm just giving you a very 100,000 feet overview of your job. And there's a lot of things you do to do this. So it's not the only job, but the summary of your job. Okay. And we'll then go into the details of it. Once we understand a complete overview, we'll then go into the details of it. All right. So now let's say you are a business analyst and I am the business and I represent the business for Amazon.com. I come to you and I say, I want to introduce a new option where the customers can pay via PayPal. So I want you to now put your thinking hat on and first tell me what is the first change that needs to be made on the screen? What would be added on the screen? Think and tell me.
Hi, Mitchell. I mean, it'd be the option where you would click on PayPal, right?
Perfect. So the way I have the options for Visa, American Express, I'm going to add another option called PayPal. Correct? Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Perfect. So if I'm a business analyst, I'm going to check with them, and I'm going to check with the business and say, so you pretty much want on this screen another option to be added, and I'm doing it live in front of you so you can see how to create a screen mockup. And over here, you would like to see the logo for PayPal. Is that correct? And the business would say yes. So I'm going to search for a logo of PayPal, which I already have here, and I'm simply going to add that. So this is my first requirement. Are you all with me? That's the first change that needs to be made. Now, I want you to again wear the hat of a business analyst and ask, what should be the next question that you want to capture? Please think and tell me, because I want you to understand from a systems perspective now as to what are the things that needs to be done in the system to make this happen. So what would be your next logical question to gather the requirements for this change? Your
what happens when customer clicks on PayPal button?
Perfect. So currently we know what happens when the customer clicks on MasterCard? What happens? Can you tell me? What should happen?
It should open a credit card number entering page or
exactly.
whatever.
So in today's world, when you select MasterCard, it will ask you for the name of the account holder, the card holder. It'll ask you for the credit card number, CVV, the expiration. That's what happens, right? So now you want to say, what happens when the user selects the PayPal option? So then my requirements are, when the user selects a PayPal option, I want the system to capture the user ID and password of the user's PayPal account. That's the next requirement. So when you select PayPal, system should ask the user to enter the user ID and password for the PayPal account. So let's do this. So I want to give you a real perspective so you understand how this would look like. Because what you do as a BA is you're gathering requirements and you should be able to visualize. So when you select PayPal, and what I'm doing is called, in a BA language, as I was telling you, we need to understand jargons. This is called a screen mockup, or it's also known as a wireframe. These are the two names that we have. All right, so what I just did is I created a screen mockup of how the screen should look like. So when you select this PayPal ID, when you select this PayPal, it should give you the option to enter the PayPal ID, PayPal password, and have an option to pay. So now what's your next question as a business analyst?
If the PayPal ID and password, after the PayPal ID and password is input, what would you like the screen to display?
Pretty close. You just missed one thing to ask. So you you're asking exactly the right question. You're just not using the right verbiage to ask the question. And as a business analyst, it's very important that we ask the right question. So what is it that he missed? What is it that Pratik missed in this?
What
After
happens
entering
if
the, yes,
what
go
happens
ahead.
if the ID and password is wrong?
Again, not a great question. What is the logical question after this? So the logical, so Pratik, what you missed asking is, when the user enters PayPal ID, when the user enters PayPal password, you missed clicking this button. And what happens when the user clicks the pay button after entering the ID and password? That's the next question.
Okay, gotcha. To see if it's going to be prompted to a different screen or not, primarily.
Anything, yes,
Okay.
because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know what would happen, right? So you have no clue what would happen. You're gathering the requirements. So the trigger to that is what happens when you click pay. So then the SMEs, the business will tell you when you click the pay button, why don't you become SME now? And why don't you tell me what should happen? Let's say when the user clicks pay, what should happen? Let's think.
Okay, so when the user clicks pay, I want it to prompt to a different screen showing that they've been logged into their account before they submit their payment.
You know what, Pratik? I don't want them to go to any other screen. I just want them to stay here and process the payment. I don't want them to be going at any other screen from here.
Okay, so after they click play, what would you like the screen to display?
No, so what would happen in the back end is my question. When you click pay, when you enter PayPal, so you are in the Amazon system right now. So when you're entering, you're on the checkout page for Amazon. You enter the PayPal ID, you enter the PayPal password, and you click pay. What should happen in the back? The moment you click pay, what will Amazon do is my next question.
It'll set PayPal as your primary payment method?
Wrong. Krupa, you said something?
Confirmation of the payment.
So how would Amazon know that this is the right ID and this is the right password for PayPal? Is PayPal an Amazon company? Does Amazon has the data for PayPal IDs and password?
No.
So what would happen?
They would have to verify your information is correct at first.
So who would they have to verify that from?
PayPal.
So what would Amazon do? Amazon is going to go to PayPal and will check. Hey, I have a user with this ID and is this password. Is this the correct ID and password? Is this a valid user? If yes, you take the payment and you display a confirmation. If no, you display an error message. So you wait for an authentication from PayPal, and based on what PayPal authenticates, you either show them a confirmation of the order or you show them an error message. Does this make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That's what I was a little confused about on how to phrase it, because I was trying to figure out how to phrase like going to a different screen to verify the information. But yeah, that makes sense now. Thank you.
Sure. So now, so let's say if the ID and password is good and you get the payment, you're showing the confirmation page. Would you be gathering requirements with the business on how the confirmation page should look like? Think and give me the answer.
No.
Why not?
Because it's already there for the credit card and everything. So
super, love it. So you as a business analyst, right? You need to be able to understand the boundaries of what you want to capture, because the confirmation page already exists. You already are showing confirmation for Visa or any other form of payment. So you simply show that. Do we have to capture anything else for this project? In terms of requirements, we still have one more thing to capture. Can you help me identify? Yes, what is that? Love it. Perfect. Because we have not yet gathered if the payment fails, what error message should be displayed. We do have error messages for credit cards, but we don't have error messages for PayPal. So I need to get the exact verbiage from the business and tell me what exact verbiage you want to be displayed, and you want to show that error message. So this is a complete project of how you'd introduce PayPal payment, and this is how you gather requirements. So again, Requirements are nothing but how a system should work. And your job as a BA is to capture those changes, document those changes, and give it to the IT team so that they can implement those changes. Are we all on the same page? So Krupa, am I talking anything different than what you learned in the school?
A lot different, but this is what I was expecting. So.
Okay, perfect. Not confused, right?
Yes, I'm not confused.
All right. Going back to where we were. So we understand few things now. Number one, the name of my job is Business Systems Analyst. The reason I'm called Business Systems Analyst is because my job is to support the IT systems which are used to run the business. Now, those IT systems could be an internal system, could be an external system. Now, we want to understand what are the different kinds of projects that you could work on, the different flavors of BA projects. So let us understand them. Now, these projects could be either internal or could be external. Does not have to be internal only. It could be internal or could be external. The first kind of a project you can work on is you join the company and they say, we want to create a new system for the company. Now, you would expect in today's world, we are in 2021. You would expect that in today's world, every company has the systems that they want to run the show. So what is the kind of a need or necessity or scenario that would necessitate the need of a new system for the company in today's world? Had it been 1995, had it been 2000, yes, these kind of projects are very, very common because everyone wanted to have an IT system. They were doing everything manually. But in today's world, one would imagine that everyone has a system. So what kind of a need would necessitate us creating a new system? Anyone?
I can give you an example I just got yesterday, the projects he wants me to do.
Yes.
So far, they have been doing a bank reconciliation manually. And he has 6 franchise right now. So he wants me to build, help IT develop an SQL code for Excel, so they can just pull the data into Excel and confirm it and show the error in case of any difference.
So what is the goal of what is the system that you are creating?
So basically, like whenever they export the data from like the bank's page to Excel, their software, which is called TextNet, should also import the data from their, like the TextNet should be able to import the data in the same Excel file and show it any difference.
Okay, so now the project that you just mentioned is not an example of a new system. However, is an example of system enhancement, because you already have that software with you and you're just adding a capability to that. That is system enhancement. Am I making sense?
Yes.
I always do, in fact.
Maybe a new system is something that a client wants to add based on an update in technology that might be happening.
See, I want you to understand. A new system means they do not have the technology to do that. They do not have a system to do that. They don't have anything. and hence you're creating something from scratch. So now you already say that they already have a technology in place. So again, not an example of a new system.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead if you want.
I was thinking like a business wanted to enter a new area of business, like a wholesaler wanted to do a retail. They would not necessarily have the retail system in place or
Great
something.
answer.
Yeah.
Great answer. Super answer. Krupa, were you saying something?
I think it was wrong, but I was just thinking like change of POS, for example, if they are using a certain like Aloha and they want to change the POS to a different.
Great answer, but that's not a new system. That is a number third kind of a project that I'll talk about. But
Okay.
I'll hold on to that answer. All right. So let me give you an example. Let's say there's a company known as MetLife. We know what MetLife is. So let's go to their website. What is MetLife providing? MetLife is providing you auto insurance, home insurance, recreational insurance, legal insurance, pet insurance. These are all the different products they offer. And what they have is they already have systems in place which are used to process all this insurance. Okay. Now they decided to add a new line of product here called business insurance. So what is the very first thing that they will think of? How would they introduce this new product? The obvious thing that they'll do is they'll go to the IT team and they'll say, you know what, we want to introduce a new product called home insurance. Sorry, called the business insurance. And we want to add that as an enhancement in the current system that we use to support the other products. So what the IT team says is we can definitely do that, and we can add one more product to our existing system. But the problem in doing that is we already have overused our current capabilities in terms of memory and everything. And we are at a maximum capacity of the workload of the system. If we keep adding new products to the system, we'll end up using a lot more memory, and the existing products will start working slow, and the performance will start getting impacted. So it is at your discretion to add this new product in the same system, knowing that the current system will become sluggish, or you can think of introducing a brand new system to support this product. And this will be a standalone system for this product. And in the future, if you decide to add any other product, we can also use the system to add that. So that's an example of a brand new system. Am I making sense? Do you understand the scenario where we end up using a brand new system?
So it's still going to be in the same page, but just the system is going to be different.
I am so glad you asked this question. So let me open that page once again. Where was I? I was here. So Krupa, what I'm showing you here, it's the company website, right? However, let's say when you go here and you purchase an auto insurance, this is an external system. Where would the billing be done for this? How would you know that the customer paid for their insurance or not? How would you know from a business that the customer's policy is expiring or not? Or when I apply for an auto insurance, the underwriter has to approve or reject the insurance policy. So how would you know that needs to be done? Is my question.
That's the internal system.
That's the internal system, and I'm talking about that. So
Okay.
This is an external system which is company facing for the customers. However, you also want to have a system. However, you also want to have a system that allows the business to run the show, to manage the show. And that's what I'm talking about. The internal system here in this example.
I get it now.
Okay, because internal systems are very complex, very complicated, and it has all the business data. So you want to make sure they run nice and fine. So this was an example of a brand new internal system that you would have to create to support that. Okay. All right. So that's an example of a new system. So you as a BA, you can work on a project where you are creating a brand new system to support a new product. Or you can work on a project which is a system enhancement. What is system enhancement? Anyone? And Krupa may be able to answer that based on what she answered previously, but not with an example, but just with a generic statement. What is an example? What is a system enhancement project?
So they already have the softwares and stuff, just wanted to add more features to the current system.
Perfect, perfect. And I want you to refrain using the word software. A better word we can use is a system or an application. That's the better word rather than a software. Okay. So that's correct. Let's see this. What kind of a project was this change? Was it a new system project?
This is system enhancement, right?
Perfect. A classic example of a system enhancement. You already have a system in place and you want to keep making changes. You want to keep making enhancements. You want to keep making the system better. So that is system enhancement. In today's world, 90% of the projects that you would work on is about enhancing your current systems, making changes in them. And you would be surprised how many changes are there to be made in the system. There is an unending backlog of changes to be made, and that's your job security. So these are the most common kind of projects that you would work on. And the third kind of a project that you would work on is known as system reengineering. Anyone would like to give a wild guess what this is about?
I think it's, sorry guys, I don't mean to cut anybody off. System reengineering, if I had to take a wild guess, is basically you're unhappy with the system the way it is right now. So instead of making the system more sluggish and adding enhancements to it, you basically scrap the whole thing and basically recode it to where it's functioning at a more user-friendly,
and that
in a more user-friendly way.
And that is a great answer and the right answer. Great job, Imran. All right, I'm showing you a screen here, the black screen. Have you ever seen this? I'm sure Imran may have.
Yes, I have.
I would think so. More in Delta Airlines or somewhere else?
That's correct, Delta Airlines.
Right? Yep. So what kind of a system is this? I want you to pay attention to this. Have you ever wondered, on your keyboard you have F1, F2, F3, F4 function keys? What are they for? What are those for?
Those are different for different configuration to make changes on your computer.
So let me tell you. So once upon a time when the IT world started, it started off with systems like this. These are AS400 mainframe old legacy systems. In today's world, you have a mouse, and to move from one page to the other, you click on things. In older times, there were no mouse. If you had to go from one page to the other, you have to use the function keys. So hence you have this tooltips here. You have this aids. If you want to exit, you press the F3 key. If you want to prompt, you press F4. If you want to refresh, you do F5. To retrieve something, F9. To restart, F10. These are old systems, mainframe systems. So in today's world as well, in 2021, a lot of companies, they use the systems. Why? Because they're pretty robust. They work just fine. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this. However, the only and the biggest problem that this system has is you cannot make the cutting edge changes that you want to make in the systems. Why is that? Why is it that you cannot introduce all the new amazing changes in these systems? Why? What do you think is the gap?
It's not supported by the company or the technology.
No, it's not yes, those changes are not supported by the technology that is used to code these systems. So the technology that is used to make the systems just does not support those changes. So they have been okay till now, but now in 2021, you know what they say? I think we've had enough. Let us do this. Let us create another system. The new system that we will create will be using the latest technology. The new system that will create will not only deliver everything that the old system used to work. On top of it, it'll have all the features that the old system did not support. And that is known as system reengineering. You trash away the legacy system and you replace that with another system, which not only does everything that your old system did, on top of it, it's going to do everything else that you always wanted the system to do. And that's system reengineering. So going back to Krupa, you were talking about an example of a point of sale system, and that is system reengineering. What was the example that you gave before?
I'm sorry, it wasn't that point of sales. It was like, okay, so only the corporations have access to that. It's totally built. It's in. We can display it in Excel. However, it's built.
No, not that example. I
Okay.
think you're talking about a point of sale register or something, a POS. You were giving me an example of a grocery store or something where you're moving from a legacy system to a new POS, and I said,
oh, that was just an example.
Yeah, so I was talking about that example.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the company I have to work from next week, Texas Coral, they have the old system which is totally based on SQL Server, and the owner built it himself.
Okay.
However, now they wanted the whole POS to be on Aloha, a new company.
Perfect. Yep. All right. So that's system reengineering, and you're migrating from the old system to a new system.
Okay.
So, and that's a little bit of a unique project because you're not building the system, you're just purchasing the system. Because Aloha, that I understand, the system already is there. What you're doing, you're simply purchasing the system and you're moving all your data from your old system to the new system.
Yes.
But again, an example of system reengineering, just that you're not creating it, you're just ready-made purchasing it from another vendor.
Okay, if we were to like just thresh the whole thing and then rewrite the codes and stuff for the POS, then it would be a system reengineering.
Exactly. A classic example of system reengineering. Exactly.
Okay.
Right. So let's say if you were to rewrite the code, right, and if you're doing the system reengineering, the very first thing you would do as a BA is what? Give it a try. You can answer this. Very close.
First thing is like, what were the new features they wanted?
Well, rather than what are the new features you want, what is the first thing you want to do?
Okay, that's
what technology you want to use?
No. the very first thing you want to do is there is something, I'm introducing another BA jargon, something known as reverse engineering. Reverse engineering. Have you heard of this word? Reverse engineering.
Yes, I have.
What is that?
Okay, so it was basically my uncle told me about like trying to search for the jobs, just reverse engineer while I was looking for the BA jobs, just see what are the requirements and then learn what you need for them.
Perfect. Good one. So you would do a reverse engineering for this system first. So you as a BA would start using the system and would document how the current system performs. Because what is a part of new, what are you doing? You're rewriting the code. So you need to give the developers the requirements as to how the system currently performs. So you want to document all the features that currently is existing in the system. So you click on the button and you say, step 1, do this, step 2, do this. So you want to document how the system currently works, because in the new system, when you're creating, the developers will have to rewrite the code. So they have to understand how the system currently performs. So that's the first thing you do. You document the current system as to how it works. That's reverse engineering. You play with it and you document how it works. And then you want to capture the requirements as to, now tell me your wish list. Now tell me your dream scenarios that you always wanted, but you never got. And those are the additional requirements. So the developers will write the code for the current system, how it works, plus the new features that needs to be introduced. That's system reengineering. All right. So these are the 3 different flavors of a project that you can ever work on as a business analyst. Any questions? Do we understand the role of a BA?
I think I do now.
Great. This is just the beginning. We'll go into a lot more details. But as long as you understand this much, the rest that will follow will be a little bit more easier. All right, going back to the PowerPoint. So we now understand the role of a business analyst. Now want to spend some time, and not a lot of time, but I want you to understand the key ingredients to be successful, right, on the job. So what are some of the characteristics or traits that you should possess as a business analyst to be successful at work? What are some of the key skills that you should have?
Communication is the first.
Communication is the first. There's one more skill that I'm going to rate higher than communication, and communication becomes number 2. It is in line, it is connected with communication though. What is that?
Requirements gathering.
Bad answer. No.
Oh.
It's a soft skill.
Listening.
So you need to be married.
Listening.
Yeah, so you need to be married, need to learn how to listen to the other person. But that's not the most important skill. What else? Your personal skills, your ability to be having good interpersonal skills. That is the most important skill at work. You'll realize soon that if you are a BA, you are connected with each and every role in the IT world. You talk with everyone on the job. So everyone comes and asks you questions. So you have to be a people person. As long as you enjoy speaking with people, as long as you enjoy talking with people, you'll do amazing in this role. So number 1, you need to have good interpersonal skills, which goes in line with having good communication skills. Very important, you need to have great listening skills. What else? What else? 2 more skills are very important.
Attention to detail.
Okay. So that goes in line with a skill that I feel is very important, is ability to ask questions. Very, very, very important. If you don't understand what the business is saying, you simply have to ask them. If you don't ask them, you will not understand that, and you'll not be able to write the details. So yes, attention to details and ability to ask questions, very important. And the last skill, which is very important, is ability to take notes. If you think that, you know what, I'll remember what they're saying, and if you don't take good notes in the meeting, you're done. You'll lose them, you'll forget them. So again, a very, very important skill is your ability to take notes while you are gathering requirements with the business. So these are some of the key skill areas that you should know as a business analyst. Any questions? All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the structure of the team. So when you are working, I want you to understand what are the different roles that you end up working with on the job. So let us spare a few minutes and understand the different roles that you interact with on the job. So if you are a business analyst, you tend to work with two different teams. What are the two teams you work with?
Is it
What are those
business?
two teams?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Business stakeholders, or like the manager or business owners?
Perfect. So you work with the business stakeholders.
And
So
then
I'm simply going to tell them, reference them as a business team.
Okay.
And perfect. You work with the other team that you work with.
IT?
Is exactly is the IT team. IT stands for information technology. They are, so the business team is supposed to tell you what they need, and IT is supposed to deliver the changes that the business needs in the system. So these are the two teams we work with. So I'm going to start talking about the different roles you work with within the IT team. So let's understand the different roles within the IT team. So in the IT team, the first role you work with is a project manager. Any idea who a project manager is? Anyone? Who's a project manager?
The person who decides the structure of the project, or when is it supposed to be done, what is supposed to be done?
No, so the project manager does not talk about when it's going to be done, does not talk about what's going to be done. The role of a project manager is to manage the IT team. So he or she is the person who's in charge of the IT team and the entire project. So the main duties of a project manager is, number one, make sure that the project is getting completed within the given time frame, within the given budget. Also, the project manager is responsible for defining the budget for the project based on the scope of the project. And the next thing that the project manager does is the project manager is responsible for managing the status updates or providing the status updates of the project to the business. So they are responsible for telling the business as to where the project is. Are there any blockages? Are there any roadblocks for the projects? And the project manager works with the business to resolve the roadblocks. So that's what a project manager does. The project manager manages the entire IT team. Underneath the project manager, the first role that comes underneath the project manager is known as a business analyst. Now, my question to you is, what does the deliverable of a business analyst look like? What does the deliverable of a business analyst look like? What is the answer? what does the deliverable of a business analyst look like? Anyone?
On what cement?
Hmm? So my question is, they hire you as a business analyst.
Of the project and the requirement itself.
So, okay, so what is the, let me ask you this in a different way. What is it that you, at the end of your job, what is it that you create? At the end of the job, you create something like this.
Documents.
What is this? You create a document. You create a document, right? And this document contains something. What does this document contain? They hire you because they want you to create a document. What does this document contain?
Requirements.
Perfect. Thank you. So they hire you because they want you to document requirements. Are we all on the same page? That is your role as a BA. Your job is to document requirements. Now, the requirements that you document can have, this document can have one of the potential 3 names. This document could have one of the potential 3 names. It could be called FRD, which stands for Functional Requirements Document. Then over here in between, I'm saying or it could be called use case. Or it could be called user story. So FRD, use cases, or user story. And I have an or in between. So this document could either be called FRD or a use case or a user story. Why do I have an or in between? What does this or suggest?
It can be any of the any of the method we can do it from there.
Okay. Anyone else?
That the functional requirement, use case, and user story are all interchangeably referring to the same thing?
Pretty close, pretty close. So whether it's FRD or whether it's a use case or whether it's user story, they all contain exactly the same thing, which is the requirements that the business wants. So if they all contain exactly the same thing, which is the requirements that the business gave you, what is the difference in the 3?
In the way that the requirements are told or displayed?
Exactly. The only difference is the template, the format in which you document. They are separate format of documentation. They are separate templates. And the reason they are different is different companies, they have different liking of what approach or what form of documentation they like to follow. So company A says, you know what, we follow FRD approach. Company B says, we like our BAs to create use cases. Company C says, you know what, we like user stories. So no matter what, different companies have different preferences in which the BA should write the requirement document. So these are all the 3 different formats in which you can create your requirements document. So during the course of the training, we are going to learn how to write all the 3 forms of requirement document. So this is the first role that comes under the project manager, which is the business analyst. What do I do as a business analyst? I go and meet the business and I document the requirements. And then that's what a business analyst does. Then the next role that comes under project manager is known as a system architect. Any idea what a system architect does?
From my understanding, he will have an idea of the entire softwares. Like, pretty much he's the one person who knows if we can implement that requirement. So he will know pretty much, if the developers are able to do it.
So let me ask you a very basic question. What does the architect of a house does? The architect of a house designs the house. And based on the design, the system architect, based on the design, the construction workers, they build the house. So what do you think does a system architect do in the IT world?
Okay, so he probably designs the whole application, the whole feature or the application.
Exactly. So the role of a system architect, the role of a system architect is to create the technical design. So system architect is not a team. System architect is just one person. And who's a system architect? A system architect is once upon a time a programmer or a developer. But now this person is the most technologically advanced person in the team. This person knows everything about technology. This person knows not only about the system that you're currently working on, but also knows the dependencies between this system and every other system used in the company. So they are the ones who are able to identify that if you change something here, it might break something else there. So they are responsible for creating system design. So if I show you an example of an IT system design, IT architecture design, it looks something like this. So they create the architectural design. Now, the system architect creates the design based on what? What is it that the system architect reads in order to create the design?
Requirements.
The system architect would read either the FRD, the use case, or the user story, depending on which one is used.
So the system architect will end up creating the requirements. So the system architect will end up creating the system design based on the requirement document created by the BA. So as you said, it could be FRD or BRD, it could be FRD or a use case or a user story. So based on that, they end up creating the design. Now, if the system architect has any questions while they're creating the design, who would they go and talk to?
The BA.
Exactly. So if the system architect has any questions while they're creating the design, if they have any requirement related questions, they would go and talk to the BA. Now, when they go and talk to the BA, would they be talking in a technical language or would they be talking in business language?
In a technical language, right?
Not at all. They would be talking in pure business language. Why is that?
Because BA does not understand all the technical language.
Thank you. So I, as a BA, am not supposed to be technical, and they don't want the BAs to be technical because they want the BAs to be gathering requirements from the business in pure English business language. So when system architect comes and asks me questions, they're only going to be talking in business language. I'll answer them in a business language, and they'll convert that business language into the technical design. So there's a system architect who creates the system design. Then the next role that comes into play, we call them developers, or we call them programmers. What do they do? What do the developers or the programmers do? It's not that difficult. At least the answer of what they do.
They write the actual codes and whatever is needed to.
Look at this. Would you want to do this? At least I would like to do this. They write this. They write the code. They write this code. what creates the system. So they do the magic that is required for the system to work. Now they write this code based on what?
Based on the design system architect wants.
Is that the only thing?
And I think it'd be based off the requirements from the BA passed down to the
Yeah.
systems.
Perfect. So they use both the things. What they do, they read every requirement that the BA wrote, and they convert every requirement into the piece of code. So they convert the requirement into code. Every line of requirement is eventually converted into a line of code. And while they do this conversion into code, they use the design that was created by the system architect. So if they have any questions related to the requirement, they go and talk to the business analyst. If they have any questions related to technology, anything technical, they go and talk to the system architect. That's what the programmers do. The next role is DBA. Any idea who a DBA is?
I think it's database administrator. They maintain the flow of data from system, like, and maintain the security and everything.
So what does a DBA do? Anyone? What does a DBA do? All right, let me give you an example. This is an example of a registration page. So imagine you're a user, you come on this page, you enter the data, and you click register. What should happen?
It should register for the new user.
Wow, smart you, like it. What happens to the data?
It should be transferred in. I think it should be transferred into the internal system.
Does the data go in the system when you register?
It's stored.
The data has to be stored somewhere. And where is it stored? In the database. So what the DBA does is, database administrator is responsible for going through my requirements document and identify what new pieces of data will be entered by the user. And for every new data that is being entered in the system, the DBA will have to create a placeholder for the data to be saved in the database. So they design the database, they save the data. So that's what a DBA does. So they look at my requirements document to capture what all data is being entered by the user, and they create placeholders to save the data. And that's what the DBA does. Any questions on the role of a DBA? All right. And then the last role in the IT team is a QA. QA stands for quality assurance or quality analyst. What does the QA do?
A QA, I think, tries to test the system for any, let's say, loopholes or anything that can break the system.
They test the system.
Yeah.
So let's say this. Let's do this. All right. Let's say I got this mug manufactured, and you are the QA that is supposed to be testing this mug. What are the things that you would test for?
Durability.
Durability. What else?
If there is any physical defect in the cup itself.
Example?
If there is like a chip, if there is a different color, or if the shape is correct according to the document, according to the requirement what the company needs. So pretty much, whatever the whatever the business or whoever want to make that cup, is that exactly what we made.
Exactly. So earlier, right, what mistake you made is, let's say if I say that the reason I got this mug made is I wanted to be used to store my dry erase markers. Would you care about whether it leaks or not? Would you care about whether it holds hot liquid or not? You would not. So if you are a good QA, you never use assumptions about a product or a system. The very first question you ask if you are a good QA is, tell me the requirements of the product or the system. So you look at each requirement and you ensure whether is this requirement being met in the system or not. If yes, it's a pass. If no, it's a fail. So that's what is your role as a QA. So these are all the different roles that you would see in the IT world. So if you are a business analyst, you tend to interact with the system architect, with the programmers, with the DBA, and with the QA. And hence I say that it is very, very important that you have to be a people person and you have to have good people skills. Because anyone has any questions, they'll come to you for an answer. So I think this is where I would like to stop today's session. In the next session, we are going to talk about the role of the business side. So we said a BA works with the IT team, also works on the business side. So today we'll end on the IT side. In the next session, we are going to talk about the role of a BA on the business side.